we have something we want to talk to you about first on the programme today. And that is something that actually only happened this morning on Jeremy's way in to work here at the White Sands Hotel in Portmarnock. Now, Jeremy, tell me what happened.
Okay, driving into work this morning along the M50, I'm one of these drivers that is always no, I'm not a great driver, but I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I've done a lot of stupid things on the road. But the one thing I pride myself on is I'm always a very conscious observer. So I like to observe the other cars that are around me. I like to keep an eye on stuff that's going, because invariably, it's someone else that will always cause a crash, not you. And you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of what other cars are doing. And anyway, on the M50, past the toll bridge, just about 1 minute past the toll bridge, I noticed that there was a van to the left of me. So I'm in the right-hand lane. There's a van to the left of me, and it's kind of veering towards my lane, which always scares me when I see that happen, when I see cars veering towards the lane. Then he pulled back into the middle of his lane. So drove up beside him and noticed that he was using his phone and texting. He had the phone resting on for those of you watching now, I'll just explain the way he was doing it. So he was driving the car with one hand, he had the phone resting on the steering wheel, and he was sending text messages with one hand while driving the car. And I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, is that still going on? And couldn't believe that he was doing it while going the speed that he was going. The bizarre thing about this is that particular driver, he was driving a commercial vehicle, which I have a still of on the dash cam. I'm going to show it to Adrian. Now, I deliberately didn't post the photograph of the dash cam footage,
because you want to ask people watching today, and it's a simple question: should you basically squeal on this fella? That's really the question that you're asking, isn't it? I was so
annoyed. And let me put it this way. Had he been just talking on the phone, had he had the phone up to his ear and he was talking on the phone, because I understand, and then that's not right either, but I understand that commercial vehicles, people working in commercial vehicles, they have to be ringing bosses, they have to be ringing the office, they have to ring around, and I understand sometimes they may need to take a call. I'm not saying it's right, but had he been just talking on the phone, I would have thought, okay, that's something. But the fact that he had his phone resting on the steering wheel while driving the car, and he was sending text messages, I could see it clearly when I looked into his, because he was as you can see, what type of van is that? It's a I don't even know what make of van that is.
I think it's a Renault Traffic or something.
Yes,
like
it
that.
is actually a Renault Traffic. So he was high up, and I could see up into his van that he was texting.
Okay, so from that photograph, I can see the number of the company clearly on the back. I can see the name of the company. Yeah. You can see the reg number of the vehicle. So you could easily, right now, pick up the phone, ring that company, and complain about him using his mobile phone literally as he was driving the car. So he was literally doing this.
Yeah, but in fact, they're on this particular company. It's a glass company, by the way. That's all I'm going to say at the moment. It's an auto glass company. So obviously a company that repairs windscreens and stuff like that. Now, my initial reaction when I got into the office and I had the dash cam footage was, I'm going to put a photograph of this up on Twitter and tag them, because this particular company is actually on Twitter. I'm going to tag them in it and tell them that they need to have a word with one of their drivers because he's texting.
Okay, but you know, and I know, that could lead to major trouble for that driver. He could even lose his job because of that. And that's the dilemma, I suppose, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, do me a favour and hang on for a second, because I want to bring in... Kevin Horgan is from Ladybird Driving School, and he joins us on the line. Kevin, good morning to you. Is he there?
How are you?
There he is. Kevin, good morning to you. We were talking.
How are you?
We were talking before the show, and you were saying that working as a driving instructor, you're out all day, every day, and you see this a ridiculous amount of times every day.
Yeah, well, it's one of the common things that happens every day, no matter what journey you make, no matter who's driving, whether you're an instructor or whether you're just a driver, a taxi driver or a company driver, minibus drivers. You will see at least 4 to 5 people on a phone, even within a 2-mile journey or 3-mile journey of your destination, wherever you're traveling to. And that's unfortunately the way it is. And I suppose companies who are trying their best to be in business and stay in business rely on their staff doing the job right and driving correctly, all of these drivers would be carrying out CPC courses, modules, and so on. And it's just one of the occupational hazards that we continue to have, whereby drivers will not obey the rules when it comes to driving with mobile phones.
And we know that this has been outlawed for years. We know that most cars now, any car kind of under 10 years old, has Bluetooth in it. You can connect your phone. When you hop into your car, it connects automatically. Why do you think people are still doing it? Are they all driving old cars?
Well, it's just a matter of habit. I just think people are used to having the phone close to them. They're fidgeting with it. They're looking at the phone while they're driving. It's just habit, and we just don't have enforcement that's strong enough to deter. It doesn't matter what the fatal consequences can be of driving with a phone in your hand, or even texting. The enforcement is not strong enough. We don't have enough policing on it, and even if the guards are out, they have the phone put back down by the time the guards are on a checkpoint or whatever, and it's back to the phone when the guards are gone or the checkpoint is over. So it is a real issue. I don't think we do enough to enforce what's happening with people using mobile phones while they drive, but it's definitely on more and more every day as we see it.
All right, so the dilemma that we have today is that Jeremy, on his way into work this morning, spotted a van. His dash cam took a clear photograph of the van. So we know the name of the company, we know their phone number, we know everything about this company. And Jeremy, with his own two eyes, saw this driver driving with his phone. He was texting or doing something on his phone.
No, he was texting. It was clear he was texting. You could see that he was texting. And as I said, I don't want to get somebody into trouble, but for us, when we worked on radio stations for years, Kevin, the people who drive the cars, these promotional people that you see out for all the different radio stations, they had very strict rules in their contract. And one of those rules that they had was, if they were caught while driving a commercial vehicle breaking any serious laws, and that means breaking a red light, speeding, or using their phones, they would lose their job. And I know several, in fact myself and Adrian know several promotions people that lost their job because when they were out driving a radio station branded car, they were on their phones, and someone invariably saw them and rang the radio station and reported them, and they lost their job. So a lot of companies have a no tolerance approach towards this, or zero tolerance approach.
So the question we're asking, Kevin, today is, when it comes to something like a commercial vehicle, this guy was on the M50, he was swerving right in front of Jeremy into Jeremy's lane. When he got past him, he saw that he was using his phone. He wasn't concentrating. As you said yourself, you see this every single day of the week. Obviously, when you're teaching people to drive, you tell them not to do this sort of thing. Should he pick up the phone and tell that company?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's zero tolerance with that. And as Jeremy said, zero tolerance meant you lost your job. That should be a condition that, listen, if you're driving with your mobile phone, texting, your job is gone and that's it. You're better off with somebody losing their job than somebody losing their life. That's how I would see that, right? But I guarantee you one thing, lads, right? If today you put it to your viewers to contact you in with people that they have seen on their phone, your lines and comments will be hopping with comments. Yeah, I saw on the M50, it was on the N7. So you will be amazed at the feedback you'll get from this now, But definitely zero tolerance. If you're on the mobile phone, it's a part of the contract. Now, companies are doing their best. I understand employees, it only takes one to mess the whole thing up, but you should contact the company, let them deal with the individual, how they feel they're going to deal with it. And then if they lose the job, well, then that's their tough luck,
Okay, so yes would be your opinion. Yes, pick up the phone, and yes, tell the company that their driver was on the M50 earlier and he was swerving all over the road and he had his mobile phone in his hand.
Definitely. I'll tell you what, the company would much rather the phone call, getting the phone call that their driver was on the phone than their driver was in an accident and killed somebody.
All right. Now, finally, Kevin, that life is slowly but surely returning back to normal. I would imagine you're up to your eyes in Ladybird Driving School. Am I right?
Well, as I speak to Adrian, I'm currently just setting out our recruitment campaign because the country in general doesn't have enough instructors. That's the problem. Like, we can talk all about backlogs and driving test delays and so on, but we have got now about 960,000, nearly 1 million hours of EDT lessons about to hit the system between June, July, and August of next year. The next 6 months, 1 million hours of EDT lessons with a small, limited amount of driving instructors. So that's part of the problem as well. So yeah, we're busy trying to recruit, trying to get more instructors on board. It's a slow process. I feel sorry for the non-essential drivers who still can't get driving, but hopefully soon enough they get back, Adrian,
All right. Well, I wish you the very best as always. Kevin Horgan from Ladybird Driving School, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number, and we would love to hear from you. The question we're asking is, should Jeremy pick up the phone and tell this company that this driver was driving this van on the M50 this morning using his mobile phone and swerving all over the road? What I want you to do is send us a yes or a no to 085 825 2626. That's 085 825 2626. Just simply send us a yes or a no. Should Jeremy call this company after this show and tell them about the driver on the motorway using his mobile phone as he was driving? 085 825 2626. Now, who have I got on this line here? It's Claire. Claire, good morning to you.
Good morning, Adrian. Good morning, Jeremy.
Hiya.
Now, Claire, should Jeremy pick up the phone and tell on this guy?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. He could have been killed this morning, or anyone else could have been killed for that matter. Kids going to school, as I was saying earlier on in the message. There's a lot of kids only to finishing in junior, a lot going in this morning to do their leaving certificate. Like, Jeremy could have been killed there, him not looking at his phone, and driving. He could have killed anyone. A big accident there on the M50. It could have been horrible this morning,
I know, but I'm not. Sorry for going across it, Claire. I hate cancel culture, and I hate this thing. If this had been anybody else, they would have put the photograph up online straight away and got millions and millions of shares and out of this company and out of this poor fella. That's not my style. If I knew that by ringing this company, that the company would give him a warning and just say, listen, you should never do that again, Adrian. If I knew that was just the case, that they would just give him a warning, I'd happily do it. But I would hate to think, I don't want to be responsible for anybody losing their job.
085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. We're asking you whether or not, and this is a moral dilemma really, because we all know how difficult the world has been over the last year. People have lost their jobs. Now people are starting to get back to work. For all we know, the guy driving that van could have been out of work for a large chunk of the last year. And now he's back to work, and he was driving on the M50 today with his mobile phone in his hand, but more importantly, swerving all over the place. So the question is, should Jeremy pick up the phone and call the company in question today? Send me a WhatsApp to 085 825 2626. That's 085 825 2626. Do you think that Jeremy should pick up the phone as soon as we're finished here and tell that company that their driver was driving on the M50, swerving all over the place and not paying it, basically more interested in his phone? 085 825 2626 is our number. It's a bit of a difficult dilemma.
Well, not for Ciara, because you believe that there's only one answer to this.
You there, Ciara? Oh, no, Ciara's not there for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with her. Nope, she's not there. 085 825 2626 is our number. We'd like to hear from you. Do you think that Jeremy should pick up the phone and call this company this afternoon and tell them that their driver was driving on the M50 with his phone in his hand, and it was a male as well? 085 825 2626 is our number. And Ciara, are you there now?
for that.
Oh, there you are, Kieran. Now, what did you want to say on this?
Yeah, I would report him to the company. I wouldn't have put it on Twitter or anything. I wouldn't have made it that public. But I would have, and I have done actually. I did it. Oh, now I'm going back donkeys years. You're probably talking about 20 years ago. I was working in an office over East Wallway. So obviously I would drive the same route every morning. And there was this, and obviously I'd be leaving the house at the same time. I'd get to the same spot every time at the same time every morning. And there was this truck, like one of these dumper trucks. And I would meet him kind of down at Ballybuck Road there, down the end of Clonliffe Road.
Yep, know where it is. Yeah,
just at that junction there. Busy enough junction. But there was always this kind of dumper truck there. Now, it had the company name and all on it and the phone number and whatever. And he used to drive like a lunatic. Now, this was before the mobile phones we have now. God, I sound so old. But he literally used to drive like something, I don't know, just a crazy lunatic in this big, huge truck every single morning. And it went on and on every single morning until this got going on for a couple of months. Until one morning I just lost the head. I got into work. I wrote down the number and I rang the job. And yeah, told on him, basically.
And, okay, so that was something that you'd seen repeatedly. This is one incident today that Jeremy witnessed on the M50. Do you think he should pick up the phone as soon as we're finished here and tell that company that their driver, in fact, it could be a sole employee, so you might actually ring the guy himself,
Could be his
Jeremy.
own business.
It could be his own business. But the question is, should he report this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that previous girl said, like, Jared could have had all his kids in the back of the car doing the school run, and it only takes a split second. You see the ad on the telly all the time. Not showing a drink driver. It's showing somebody texting on their phone, and for a split second, he goes into the middle of the road and crashes into a dad with two kids in the back of the car. It's all it takes is a split second of not concentrating.
Okay, so somebody just said on our page, Alan on our Facebook page says, it's not just a moral dilemma, it's a legal one. He's breaking the law, pure and simple. The driver should be more responsible. Loads of people out of work. He should value his job more. You would agree with that? Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. It's not as if you're looking around, oh, who can I rat on today? Who's breaking the law today? It's not. No, like, he nearly hit Jer in the car. Like, we've all had near misses. I'm 25 years driving. God, I'm showing my age today. I better shut up. We've all had near misses. I'm 25 years driving. I've had one crash. But I've had a few people hit me, which weren't my fault. But yeah, you see it all the time. People on the phones or people.
So you would agree with this comment that the only one responsible for losing his job, if that happens, is the man himself, not Jeremy, because he could have killed somebody.
Yeah, especially in a work vehicle, especially more so in a work vehicle.
All right, great to talk to you, Ciara. Thanks very much indeed. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. And it is very simple. Should Jeremy tell a tale on the driver in the company van on the M50 today, or should he mind his own business? 085 825 2626.
Now, looking at the photograph that I took, Adrian, and I'm not trying to tease the viewers and the listeners here, but I would imagine that's not a big company. Sure, it's not. That's probably... I'm just showing Adrian the dash cam footage of the van. That's a...
And by the way, for those of you asking how did he get a photograph, he's after taking the screen grab off his dash cam. Okay.
By the way,
it's very clear. It's very clear who it is.
Yeah, but it's not a big glazing company. Sure, it's not, from what I can see.
No,
in other words,
small enough.
There's a chance that he works for himself.
There is every chance that he works for himself.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay, 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. John is disgusted over this.
Yes, Adrian and Jeremy, most certainly report them. And I know you're doing better. I know you ring the company there now while you're live on air and get them on. Absolutely disgraceful, so it is. The driver should be sacked on the spot. Could have killed a load of people.
Okay, so John wants us to ring the company live on air. Let's have a listen to what Alan has to say.
Good morning, Adrian. Good morning, Jeremy. Adrian, you kind of indicated the driver. It's a moral dilemma. It's a legal dilemma as well. The simple fact of the matter is he's breaking the law. There's plenty of people out of work now because of all the COVID situation, etc., through no fault of their own. He really should be more responsible and value his job more, to be perfectly honest with you. So, purely and simple, I'd agree, don't maybe make it public on Twitter, because then he could be a target of lots of online abuse, etc. But he certainly should be reported to the company, and then they take whatever action they feel appropriate. That's my opinion anyway. Thank you very much.
All right, Alan, thanks very much indeed.
Sorry. And Alan, that was never an option. I was never going to do that. I hate that. That's one thing I absolutely hate, because somebody can ruin a business by putting a photograph up on social media. I'll give a classic example. A couple of years ago, we were in a very well-known pub having roast dinner for Sunday lunch, and my son had lamb, and as he was eating the lamb, I noticed that there was the string on the lamb left on it. The chef had left a big thing of twine on the lamb, and it was about to go down my son's throat. I managed to grab it out, and a lot of people's first reaction to that would be what? What would they do if that was their kid?
Take a photograph of it, put it online, share widely, and get the company into trouble.
Yeah, how dare that company? They nearly choked my son. And what I did was I went straight up to the chef and I said, listen, I'm just letting you know, you left a bit of string in your lamb. It nearly went down my son's throat. Just keep an eye on it in the future. But other people, there's just this tendency to put everything up on social media for maximum, for like, what's it doing? What does it do? It just massages your own ego.
Of course,
so there's no need for that. If you want to deal with something, you deal with it in a private way.
Here's an issue that regularly rears its ugly head, and it's a message on our Facebook from Ryan, and he says, if driving using your mobile phone is so dangerous, why do Gardaí and emergency vehicles have an exemption? Does an exemption make it safer? I think not. And it is something that really annoys people, and I know somebody, believe it or not, who was done for having their phone in their hand, pulled in by the guards, and pulled in by the guards, and then the guard, after doing him for it, hopped into his car, picked up his phone and drove off. So you can understand how that would make people very angry. Let me go to Liz. Good morning, Liz. You're on Opinions Matter. How are you, Liz?
Good morning. Great to hear your voice again.
Thanks very much, Liz. We haven't gone away. Now, Liz, do you think Jeremy should pick up the phone today and report this driver for using his phone on the M50?
I think he should, because a professional person has an obligation when they're driving the company bid to drive safely and to be aware of what is around them. So yeah, I think he should. But I'd be like Jeremy, I'd be worrying, oh God, will he lose his job? But I think he should.
You think he should lose his job?
No, I think Jeremy should report it. Yeah.
I mean, it is a very difficult dilemma, especially as we said. The thoughts of the guy actually losing his job is awful. Is that Jeremy? Is that what's stopping you?
Absolutely. You don't know the man's. You don't know the man's circumstances. You don't know. He could be trying to keep a roof over his head. Maybe he's had a shit. Maybe he's had a shit year where he hasn't had any work. Having said that, none of that excuses. Using your phone to text while you're driving. It's just such a. Even if it was on another road where he was going 30 kilometers an hour, you'd say, okay, that's bad. But doing 100 kilometers an hour on the M50 while texting that's a disaster waiting to happen.
And a disaster that could have happened. I didn't hear if there was a big crash on the M50 today, but it's a disaster that could have happened.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming there wasn't a big crash on the M50 today, or we'd have heard about it. But you think, without hesitation, Liz, you think he should pick up the phone and call that company and report that driver?
Yeah, because because I drive, like, part of my job, I'm on the road, and it's explained to me when I took on the job, you know, if you are caught driving a company vehicle breaking any traffic rules, you'll be fired. So I'm aware of that. So, I mean, that guy should be aware of it too.
All right, so definitely, Jeremy, the overriding opinion so far seems to be yes, you should pick up the phone, and yes, you should tell.
Well, it's actually bizarre. The opinions that are happening on air at the moment are completely different to Facebook. I mean, Facebook, it's comment after comment. Okay, Karen, Jeremy's a Karen. That's not being a Karen. And can I say to all of you who are commenting on Facebook saying, "Oh, I'm a Karen," and you'd be the first people that if you found a bloody spider in your dinner in a restaurant, you'd have photographs all up on Facebook, or if you got a batter burger from your local chipper and it was undercooked, you'd have it all up on Facebook. This isn't about being a Karen, and you wouldn't be saying that if a car knocked you off the M50. But if someone crashes into you on the M50 doing 100 kilometers of an hour, you don't stand a chance. I would have been crashed into the median of the road, wouldn't you?
085 825 2626. Simple question. Should Jeremy tell? Should he ring the company as soon as we're finished here? And should he tell on that driver driving on the M50 this morning? Here's a WhatsApp voice note from Janet.
I think I would probably call the company, not give the reg, and just tell them that one of their drivers was doing this. Let them work it out, find out who it was, and let them handle it.
Okay.
You see, the tricky thing about this is this, and I'm just looking back at the photograph again. This glazing company is from outside Dublin. Where
are they from?
Well, can I say?
Well, what part of the country, roughly?
Is that the Midlands? I don't even know what part of the country is. Is that the Midlands?
Yeah, the southwest.
Yeah, okay, so it's from the southwest. And they may have only had one driver on the M50 this morning.
And by the way, that company is a company that wouldn't have been doing an awful lot of work during the lockdowns. They would have been very restricted in what they were able to do. So you have to think, here's a fella that was on the PUP and he's back to work again, and you could be putting him back out of work again by making that phone call.
Then again, he could be putting people into an early grave if he keeps that up. The chances are, here is the thing, if someone is driving their car and texting at the same time, that's not a first offence. That's not the first time he's done it. Would you agree?
But I'll read this message from Ross on our Facebook page, and Ross says quite simply, what if it was an emergency? Jeremy and Adrian, you're honestly going to sit there and say you've never looked at your phone while driving? No, I'm not going to say that.
No, why would I say that? I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to say
Absolutely.
that. Because it wouldn't be true.
And Ross, I started off this conversation by saying that I'm far from an angel when it comes to the road. The way I drive sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. But that's not the issue here. The issue is here when you're driving a commercial vehicle and you're not obeying the rules of the road, companies have a very strict policy on that. You can't get hired by a company to do a driving job if you have a, what's it called on the license again that you have? An endorsement is an endorsement. If you don't have any job that you go for where driving is included, it will always say in the job application you need a clean driver's license. That's how seriously companies take this. Can you imagine if that car this morning had knocked me off the road and killed me? Yeah, and can you imagine that company would be gone out of business, wouldn't it?
085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number if you want to get involved in this conversation. This is Angela.
Angela here, just maybe a little bit of advice that maybe Jeremy rings the company but doesn't give the reg of the car or the van, and just say what happened, so then maybe all of their drivers will get a warning. Hopefully nobody lose their job. That's just a thought, just to give them a warning, and the next one they're out.
All right, thanks very much indeed, Angela. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. Other messages coming in saying things like the majority of company vans have trackers too, so you could just ring the company, say I saw one of your vans on the M50 at whatever it was, 8:30 this morning, and they'll know what driver it was. Most company vans do have trackers on them.
And a lot of people are asking to ring the company live on the air. I can't do that because you're not allowed to put people on the air without their permission, and I don't think it would be fair to throw this person in at the deep end. Okay, here's what I will do. the dash cam footage shows that the company has a landline number and it has a mobile number, has an 086 number as well. What I'm going to do when we go off air is I'm going to ring the mobile number and ask that person who answers, were you the guy who was on the M50 this morning? By the way, and someone just pointed this out, I've forgotten about this. In the US, in America, they take this very, very seriously. And on the backs of most commercial vehicles, it will have a sign saying, how's my driving? Call 1-800, how's my driving? How's my driving? Yeah. And that's basically your opportunity to ring a company if you see them acting erratically, to ring them and say, well, your driving was actually terrible. And this is all about creating safety, because these people, anybody who drives for a living, they're on the road 5 days a week, you know what I mean? 10 hours a day for some time. And really, they should be leading by example.
Okay, let's squeeze in a couple more messages on this. This is from Era.
Good morning, guys. This is Era from Clonmel. Yes, I would have reported this to his company, but to share it online is just as bad. I mean, his company could have dealt with it internally. I didn't have to bring his company in disrepute. Did he share the company's name on social media? I mean, it's not the company's fault their driver was on the phone, but also the company has a duty of care to other road users. But yes, I do agree that the company does need to know, and hopefully it may draw awareness like to the rest of their drivers, and they might be able to install like Bluetooth devices in their vans or in their cars, or even like Bluetooth headsets for their drivers in future. Yes, they do need to be made aware. Have a good show, guys.
Thank you very much indeed. 085 825 2626 is our telephone number.
And by the way, having a Bluetooth headset or anything like that for the by the way, the van, let me see what year the van is. It's a 1.7, so it probably does have...
It does.
It's a 1.7, so it probably does have Bluetooth. But Bluetooth isn't going to take away the fact that the person was sending a text message. They weren't talking on the phone. And I see those as... both are dangerous, but I see them as two completely different things, aren't they? It's one thing having the phone up to your ear, yeah?
Yep.
And still driving. At least you're keeping your eye on the road. You cannot send or type a text message and look at the road at the same time. Would you agree?
No, you definitely can't.
It's physically impossible.
Yep. And the ad that they're running on television, where you see the split screen, the 1 second going back and forward, and you can see how much can happen in 1 second. So the 1 second that you're looking at your phone, looking back up to the road, looking at your phone, it's impossible to do.
Actually, before we wrap up this conversation, and I want to do a poll on the show, but I want to do it in a completely anonymous way, okay? So I want, you've anonymity. We're not going to read out your name. We're not even going to read out the text. It's just to get a handle on this, to find out, have you ever sent a text message while driving? Now, you need to be completely honest about this. It's not the politically correct thing to say that you have, but this is an anonymous poll, okay? So get your WhatsApp phone out now. The number is 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. And it's a simple yes or no question. Have you ever sent a text message while driving your car? Okay, that's it. Simple question.
Okay, well, I won't bother sending the message, because yes is the answer for me.
Oh.
Well, it is. You're asking a question. Have I ever sent a text message whilst driving my car? Now, it was years ago. I haven't done it in years, but I did do it. And you're the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I have years ago as well, and then realised
how dangerous it actually is.
Jesus, I even think it's worse than drink driving. I think it's possibly the most dangerous thing that you can do. Having said that, we know people who send emails while they're driving their car. How can you do that? How could you type an email while driving? And I see it every day as well on the school run near our house. You see parents. It's bad.
It's insanity, yeah, it is.
Where you have three kids, your own kids, your flesh and blood in the back of the car. You're driving to school and you're sending a text message while you have your three kids. Could you live with yourself if you ended up totaling your car with your 3 kids in the back of it because you sent a text message. What text is that essential that it has to be sent?
085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. Just answer yes or no. Have you ever sent a text message or a WhatsApp message whilst driving your car? For me, the answer is yes. I haven't done it in a long time, but yes. For Jeremy, the answer is yes. He says he hasn't done it in a long time either. And what is the answer from you? Just send a yes or a no to 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note that's just come in to us. Oh, Era is back on.
Hi guys, Era again. I'm so sorry. I didn't realise like he was sending a text message. That's a completely different issue altogether. I mean, like, if you wanted to send the text, you should have pulled in on the hard shoulder or into a petrol station. The Bluetooth headsets are really good, like, for answering phone calls. Like, instead of, like, looking at your phone, like, you could just tap the headset and it'll answer the phone call. But text messages and things like that, no, definitely not. I'm 100% in agreement with you guys. Definitely not. Pull in somewhere safe and send your text message. And... yeah. Have a good show.
By the way, in most cars, and most phones, you can actually, if it's that important, you can dictate a text message.
Can you? I didn't know you could do that.
I'll show you now. So I have my phone here, and I can say, "Hey Siri."
Is this an iPhone thing?
Yep. So there's Siri answering me. Send a WhatsApp to Jer Dixon.
I don't see an app for that.
Oh.
You'll need to download one.
That's my iPad speaking there, you see. So my iPad...
that basically means that he doesn't have my number saved in his phone. How embarrassing is that?
Okay, the majority of you are being honest, and the majority of messages coming in to us are saying, yes, you're being honest, and yes, you have used your mobile phone whilst driving. So,
and sorry to Claire Marie, whose message is...
Sorry to send a text message.
Yeah, these comments annoy me. Claire Marie on Facebook saying, mind your own business, FFS. Are you stupid, Claire? It is your business when the car is beside you on a main road. I don't think people are grasping this, that when someone is behaving erratically on the road or driving dangerously, it is your business because you're also on the same bloody road. And again, I'd say that to you, Claire. If you were on the road with your kids in the back of the car and there was a car swerving over towards you, that is your business. So
absolutely.
Cop onto yourself.